Let me begin with you, Mr. Ariyo. Your perception of what former President Olusegun Obasanjo said with regards to our democracy. Of course, he has come under criticism being one of the beneficiaries of our democracy. And the other governors too are part of those who have benefited, or former governors are part of those who have benefited from our style of democracy. So now this statement coming from them is coming as something that some persons are not really happy with. But let's get your perception of what he said.
Thank you very much. General Obasanjo enjoyed 8 years of presidency and even pushed for an extra term.
Yeah.
Not a secret. Everybody knew it. As late as January this year, he was pushing for a candidate for presidential election. But just in November, not yet a year, Kyle Fayemi established the Center for Democracy and Development a long time ago, during the military era. And I was a subscriber to that center. It was somewhere in the Lupeju or Banikoro axis. Just last year, September, he became the head of Forum for Regions of Africa. Again, he contested the primaries under APC before he stepped down. He paid 100 million naira for form. Liye Limuke, all his life, he practiced law in UK, and then he's been a businessman. But of course, he had 8 years stint as governor in this same dispensation. And of course, he was pushing for Atiku during the last presidential election. Olagunsoye Oyinlola, another person whose speech was reported, was a military governor of a state before he became governor under the same dispensation, spent a full first term, and 3 years before he was thrown out by a judicial decision. Now, all of these characters, you want to ask yourself, after benefiting immensely from this system, you suddenly woke up and you are saying the system should be thrown away, water and baby. And I'm asking, at what point did they become born again? And even if they should become born again, I look at it as selective ethic. Perhaps because your candidates lost and somebody or another party won.
Why perhaps can't we see it in a different dimension?
I understand. I'm not
I
saying,
mean, we cannot throw away the baby and the bathwater.
By the time I finish my submission, you will understand.
Right.
And then suddenly, democracy hasn't been working. We've been in this since 1999. And they've had, Obasanjo, for example, there was a time he made sure he sent away all the opposition parties in the Southwest. Only Lagos was retained by opposition then. And there are so many ways. I remember he sent Fayose away and brought in an interim governor in Ekiti State. So many of these impunities that he injected into our democracy.
So they do not have the justification for
this? How do you think we are not idiots? We are intelligent people in Nigeria. And thank God, none of us here is a kid that will not understand the dictates of all of these things. If you must come and say democracy is not working, what alternatives are they offering us?
Afro-democracy.
What do you call Afro-democracy? I don't understand why people think they can just wake up and whatever dream they had, they want to lump it on all of us. This is intellectual malapropism and should be rejected. It's fraudulent. And that's my position.
Let's get your position on